Hey, Rich again. Rich is talking. So, let me see. Do you remember this?
1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, oh my God. That's how bad he sank. His cognitive decline. And then do you remember Mr. Joe Scarborough saying this?
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people knew this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is... And I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Yeah, F you. That's what he said. Joe, he's an amazing guy. So now, Mr. Jake Tapper, who's CNN's top guy, he has announced a book that he's co-authoring called Original Sin. And it's how the press hid from the public the cognitive decline of Joe Biden running for president. Joe Scarborough was bad enough, but here's Jake Tapper talking to Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, back about the same time that Joe Scarborough made his comments. Listen to this.
You made this comment earlier in the campaign about Joe Biden. Let's take a listen to that.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You have
to watch somebody on stage search for
that's so amazing.
questions
It's so amazing to me
and try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is that
about a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last
struggling
question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
So that guy who you folks, you Democrats love him, you think he's great. What a big effing liar he is. A liar. He's now come out and said, it was everybody else, it wasn't me. Can you believe this guy? He's got the balls to come out like this? I can't believe it. That's the press for you. That is the press, who we all know are liberal. It's the liberal press. That's my thoughts on that subject. The other general comments I'm going to make is on the Democrats, the liberals, out there marching last Saturday. What a dumb thing. Haven't they figured out yet that protests don't do anything? Nothing has ever been accomplished by a protest. Never, 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 ever. They're the same as a congressional hearing. Nothing ever happens. Nothing happens with a congressional hearing. Nothing happens with protests, except when the liberals do it, they usually destroy property and put businesses out of business and start some fires and things like that. That's what their protests do. But when are you people going to figure out the way we do it on the right? We go to the voting place and we vote what we want. We don't go destroy anything. We don't go out and protest. We do it the right way. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today. Bye.